Good morning. This is WSLS 10, Virginia Today at 6.
The body was located a short distance from the last known sighting.
A man dies after canoeing in Pulaski County. The reminder from investigators to people out on the water.
Here he is, still invincible.
Another big night at the Rio Olympics. A live report from the big wins from track and field and gymnastics that continue boosting USA's medal count and what to expect in the day ahead. Good morning and happy Monday to you. We thank you for starting your day with us here on Virginia Today on WSLS 10. I'm Patrick McKean.
I'm Jenna Zibton, and we are starting out warm again this morning.
Some folks did see a little rain, and with that wet ground, we've got a little fog this morning as well. I'll give you a live look. Virginia Tech campus in Blacksburg with that fog. We are definitely seeing that this morning. Be careful as you head out. Christina in the Weather Center with what you can expect here on your Monday as you plan your day. Christina, good morning.
Good morning. Yes, a lot of dense fog this morning in the NRV and Highlands. Most other places looking all right, and then everyone will be okay in the visibility department after about 8:30 this morning. Lots of kids heading back to school today. Welcome back. For your first day, expect temperatures in the lower 70s at the bus stop and on your way into school. Middle 80s by lunchtime with lots of sunshine. On your way out, heading back home, we are in the lower 90s with a lot of humidity, and a few thunderstorms will be developing at that time. Lowest visibility in Blacksburg and Lewisburg right now. So again, allow yourself some extra time this morning as you're heading out. Most of the thunderstorms remain to our west. That is where we have our cold front. Locally, we will have a few thunderstorms, but most of us are staying dry this afternoon and evening. Coming up at 6:10, I'll help you plan your day with your hourly local planner, your big forecast or big picture forecast, and we will have your 7-day outlook as well. Checking in with our time saver traffic system. Some of the roads impacted by that fog this morning include Interstate 64 through Lewisburg and also 460 and Interstate 81 through Blacksburg. After 8:30 this morning, that will be getting a lot better. Jenna?
A man in Pulaski County is dead after canoeing in the New River. Deputies say a husband and wife were in a canoe that capsized near Pepper's Ferry Bridge in Pulaski. The wife called 911 just after 4 Sunday afternoon when her husband did not come up out of the water. Search and rescue crews and dive teams searched for nearly 2 hours before finding the man's body.
2 individuals in the canoe. The one individual made it ashore. Was actually assisted here at this location by other bystanders. The other subject, unfortunately, did not make it.
The man's name has not been released. Weather not believed to be a factor. It's unclear if the man was wearing a life jacket, but police remind everyone to wear appropriate gear on the water.
6:03 now, and at least 4 people have died and more than 10,000 in shelters in southern Louisiana after heavy rain brought historic and dangerous flooding. Take a look at this. The federal government has declared a major disaster in Louisiana as water covers farmland and streets, and only the tops of cars can be spotted in shopping centers. Right now, 4 parishes fall under the declaration given by Governor Edwards, but says he expects to add more. They're also warning people to stay inside and not to go sightseeing.
We don't need you to be out if you don't need to be out. It's not a sightseeing thing to go out and want to see this, especially at nighttime. So we're asking you to please stay in your homes if that's the safest place for you this time.
The Coast Guard has assisted in the rescues. In some cases, baskets were lowered to rooftops to lift people out of flooded areas.
New this morning, 5 bodies have now been recovered after an explosion and fire at an apartment complex in Maryland. 2 of the victims recovered were 3 and 8 years old. Still no word on what may have sparked the fire or triggered the possible explosion. Crews are still working to clean up the scene, but they face danger as they sift through the rubble.
Believe me when I say I'd like to do this more quickly. We just simply can't. It's too dangerous. The structure still presents as a collapse hazard.
Local shelters are helping nearly 100 people that lost their home. Team USA continued to lead the world in gold and overall medals at the Summer Games in Rio.
This time next week, all of the Olympic champions will be crowned. The athletes will say their goodbyes, and Rio 2016 will be over. but there's still a lot to get through this week.
WSLS 10's Alicia Inns joins us live from Olympic Park this morning with highlights from day 9 and what to expect in the final week of the Summer Games.
Hi, good morning, Jenna, and good morning to you too, Patrick, as well. Yeah, you know, up until this point, Michael Phelps really been the one that's been dominating the headlines in the Rio Games. Now, though, Usain Bolt stepping in and really just lighting up the Olympic Stadium overnight. In fact, this was such a heavily attended event that they were turning the media away by the dozens, everyone wanting to catch a piece of this. And though history was made by a Jamaican sprinter that everyone seems to love, Team USA still bringing home lots of those gold and silver and bronze medals.
1 down, 2 to go.
And here comes Bolt.
Usain Bolt defending his title of fastest man in the world, winning the 100-meter gold to complete the first part of his triple-triple attempt.
One thing my coach always says is just don't panic, just take your time, and you get back in the race. So that's what I did. I took my time and I worked my way back, and I just got it done.
American Justin Gatlin gunning for the same title, held on for silver in what could be his last Olympic Games.
I'm happy with that right today. And some raspberry for tomorrow.
In gymnastics, Simone Biles became the first American woman ever to win the vault. Today, it's balance beam. She's on par to leave Rio with 5 gold medals when all's said and done. And Team USA heading to the quarterfinals of the women's volleyball tournament undefeated.
We take 1 point at a time each match. We treat everything the same. And yeah, we're excited for what's to come.
Now, what is to come for those ladies? They actually have a break today. They're going to pick up play and move on. That's the same case with the men's and women's basketball. They won yesterday. They have a break today, but it is win or go home for the men's beach volleyball. They are in the quarterfinals against the home team, if you will, Brazil. Going to be a lot of fans packing into the stadium for that one. We also understand that Allison Felix, you know, she's a big name when it comes to track and field. She's going to be competing in her only solo competition, the 400-meter, Patrick and Jenna. So still a lot to come, as you mentioned. Yeah.
And Alicia, a lot of people talking about the drama that unfolded in Rio after swimmer Ryan Lochte was held up at gunpoint. What do you know?
Yeah, so what I understand is that Lochte actually talked to the Today Show and was explaining that he and 3 of his other swim team members were in a taxi. They got pulled over, and there were some men that were impersonating police officers. They held them at gunpoint, forced them to the ground. They took Lochte's wallet. But what I understand is no one was hurt, and now Rio police are investigating. They're going to be interviewing these athletes, hopefully come to some closure in this. But you can only imagine a scary situation unfolding here. Still a lot of security officers around here, so it's just one of those situations where I think everyone's on a heightened alert a bit, but just an extra reminder to be safe here in Rio, guys.
Alicia Inns live for us in Rio. Alicia, thanks so much.
From the competitions to athlete profiles, we have live team coverage as our team of reporters cover the Summer Games. You can watch every morning right here on Virginia Today on WSLS 10 to catch up on what you missed from the day before. The Today Show continues our Olympic coverage with that exclusive interview that Alicia was talking about from Ryan Lochte, who was robbed at gunpoint.
The guy pulled out his gun, he cocked it, put it to my forehead, and said, "Get down." And I was like, I put my hands up, I was like, whatever. He took our money, he took my wallet.
Plus, Michael Phelps and Katie Ledecky will be live talking about it, winning a combined 9 gold medals. Other swimmers and golf stars making an appearance as well. It starts at the top of the hour at 7 here on WSLS 10.
Studies show 1 in 4 kids will be bullied at some point in their lives. And as students are heading back into the classroom, bullying is something parents and teachers are working to stop.
Experts say there are many different kinds of bullying that can start at extremely young ages. WSLS 10's Erin Brookshire, she spoke with a local school counselor, and she joins us now live here at 6:09 to break down what parents need to know. So, Erin, just what kind of impact can this bullying have on kids?
Well, it can have a pretty serious impact. Kids who are dealing with teasing, harassment, hazing, or any kind of bullying aren't learning as well as they should be. The bullying affects them emotionally and socially, leading to issues with adjusting in the classroom, anxiety, depression, and problems sleeping. Now, the bullying can start as early as elementary school, with kids saying things like, "You're not my friend," "I don't like you," or "You can't play with us." And if those early behaviors aren't addressed by the time they get older, Ferrum Elementary School counselor Stephanie Pendleton says it can turn into a full-fledged bullying situation. That's why she says parents need to be aware, looking out for some common signs or changes in their child's personality that could signal something is wrong.
Communicate with their children and listen to what they say. Look for any changes in behavior like if they come home and they have always liked school but now they don't want to go to school, or they're crying a lot, or they're just acting very different, then they need to, you know, ask them some questions. How are things going at school? Who are you playing with? Who are your friends? How are they treating you?
And if you as a parent are worried that something might be off at school, she should suggest talking to your child's teacher. You can ask them how your child gets along with other kids, who their friends are, and if they've noticed any changes at school too. Now coming up in the next half hour, why many students don't report being bullied and advice for kids on how to deal with those bullies. I'm Erin Brookshire, WSLS 10.
Good morning. You're looking live from our Liberty University Skycam in Lynchburg. Another beautiful start to the day. Love those colors with the sun rising. We will see lots of blue sky once the sun is fully over the horizon, starting out in the upper 60s and lower 70s as you head out to the bus stop this morning with a little bit of patchy fog into the lower 90s, a lot of humidity on the way back home, and that will lead to just a few isolated thunderstorms developing. A lot of us are going to stay dry, though. Pretty hit or miss in nature, similar to what we saw over the weekend. Very low visibility in Blacksburg and Lewisburg right now with less than a mile of visibility. That will improve after 8:30 this morning. Between about 1, 2 this afternoon, we'll start to see those thunder showers bubbling up, first along and west of the Blue Ridge Parkway, and a few are possible east of the Parkway, mainly in the evening and into the, well, late afternoon, early evening, right around dinner time. Paul's this right around 6 this afternoon. You'll notice most of this is to the north of our region. And then overnight, everything winds down. A little bit more patchy fog develops. Here's what's happening on the big picture. We have a front to our west, so that's where we're going to find most of the action. We are still under this high pressure system to our east. This is the Bermuda High pulling in that heat, that moisture from the Gulf, and our jet streams keeping most of the cool air well to our north. And because our jet stream is pretty flat, we call this a zonal flow. Not a lot of changes in store over the next couple of days. When the jet stream takes a lot of dips, a lot of turns, that's when we have big changes from day to day. But this week, not a whole lot of changes. A few, though. We do get a cold front moving through on Wednesday. That will bring us more showers and storms, but still not a complete soaker area-wide. Into our Thursday and Friday, we're a little cooler behind that front with temperatures in the middle 80s. The humidity goes down a bit, but overall still pretty warm and humid, leading to at least a small chance for a few of those afternoon thunder showers. But the chance for storms each day overall pretty low. So you get a shot each day, but a lot of us staying dry.
And at least it's not too terribly hot there. I mean, just
right.
A couple of 90s and a lot of 80s. That's
yeah, today,
decent.
Tomorrow, this is when it's really just going to be very steamy out, and then it gets a little bit better, a little more typical this time of year.
Sounds good. Thanks, Christina. The time now is 6:13. A little girl writing a letter to President Obama telling him how to do his job. The advice is sent to the White House and the reply she gets.
A major weapons test is imminent. We need to know how to destroy it.
Plus, the new Star Wars film already seeing success the impact is making online when we look at what's trending today.
The Carpet Factory Outlet Advantage is clear. We do floor covering for less.
The Storm Team 10 weather app. It tells you everything you need to know. Features live radar. Swipe to current weather conditions. With forecasts set to your home. The only app you need for weather. The Storm Team 10 weather app. Watch WSLS 10 Virginia today from 5 to 7, your back-to-school headquarters.
I'm Damon Gutierrez with Damon Gutierrez & Associates Realtors. We like homes that sell, not set. We sell homes faster for more money and net you more money. Get our sell in 59 days or sell it for free guarantee. List your home today at listwithdamon.com.
If you're ready for a masterpiece, instead of a common kitchen, let Ideal Cabinets make it come true. Ideal Cabinets creates beautiful, functional kitchens designed to fit your unique lifestyle. Ideal Cabinets, your cure for the common kitchen. See all of our stylish looks at idealcabinets.com.
For all of your automotive needs, Thompson Tire has you covered.
Now through September, get a mail-in rebate of up to $120 with the purchase of 4 select Goodyear tires.
Come be a part of the Thompson Tire family.
Thompson Tire, committed to serving you.
When it comes to hearing loss, the numbers speak volumes. 1 in 5 people have hearing loss, but 80% do nothing about it. Studies have proven that treating hearing loss improves quality of life. At the Hearing Clinic, you're not just another number. We combine the latest technology with a custom treatment plan by a doctor of audiology. Call now for a free initial consultation or visit us online at swvahearing.com. The Hearing Clinic. Find the freedom of better hearing.
At Valley Landscaping, we specialize in every aspect of the green industry. Our landscape architects, designers, and arborists will work with you to build the outdoor living space of your dreams. Valley Landscaping also offers full-service grounds maintenance and mowing for both residential and commercial needs. Our partner tree company, Valley Tree, safely removes the toughest trees, utilizing top-of-the-line equipment. Outdoor experts serving the Roanoke and New River Valley since 1991. Valley Landscaping. One company does it all.
For all of your automotive needs, Thompson Tire has you covered.
Now through September, get a mail-in rebate of up to $120 with the purchase of 4 select Goodyear tires.
Come be a part of the Thompson Tire family.
Thompson Tire, committed to serving you.
If you're ready for a masterpiece, instead of a common kitchen, let Ideal Cabinets make it come true. Ideal Cabinets creates beautiful, functional kitchens designed to fit your unique lifestyle. Ideal Cabinets, your cure for the common kitchen. See all of our stylish looks at idealcabinets.com.
I'm Damon Gutierrez with Damon Gutierrez Associates Realtors. We like homes that sell, not sit. We sell homes faster for more money and net you more money. Get our sell in 59 days or sell it for free guarantee. List your home today at listwithdamon.com.
6:16 now on your Monday morning. We take a look at what's trending today.
The new trailer for the new Star Wars movie Rogue One is making a huge impact online.
This is our chance to make a real difference. Are you with me?
All the way.
The trailer for Rogue One, a Star Wars story, debuted last week and is already outpacing Super Bowl spots from earlier this year. According to Deadline, it was being viewed on average 1 million times per hour. The new film launches in theaters December 16th. I'll be watching this.
Yes.
You and everybody else, I think.
Yes.
It's awesome how fast they're putting them out, because sometimes with franchises like this, you have to wait a while.
Yes.
But the last one just came out around Christmas time last year, so that's pretty quick.
A new study suggests if you take a selfie at the gym or post your workout on Facebook, you may be a narcissist. Researchers at Brunel University London say people who need validation post about their achievements. They say narcissists also wrote more status updates about their diet and exercise routine, suggesting they use Facebook to show off the effort they put into their appearance. The data came from close to 600 Facebook users who completed online surveys about their personality traits. And one of the other things that came out of this is if you post about your significant other a lot, you may be self-conscious, is what they found out of this. But nobody wants to see me at the gym. And no, like, my hair is all crazy looking, sweaty,
Mine
red.
too. Yeah. Yeah.
I would not want anyone to see that.
I'm pretty sure most of these post-workout selfies are pre-workout full makeup. That's what it looks like to me.
Spritz themselves with a little water just to...
Yeah. Like, I glisten. I sweat. No, lie.
Wars, attacks, and Zika are upsetting one young American. Thankfully, though, she has a solution. An 8-year-old girl named Lily recently wrote President Barack Obama with advice on running the country. She says the U.S. needs more spunk, adding that Obama should do something fun, like visit Disney World or wear a tie-dye shirt to something important. Lily wrote
that suggestion.
It would be good to see. Lily wrote that her backup job is to be president, so President Obama responded, offering her some advice on how to play a big role in shaping the world.
I want to know what her real job is. If being president is just her backup job, what is her A-team job?
Of course, she's got 27 years to go until she can actually be president. So
She's got plenty of time to prepare.
I love 8-year-olds. You know, you visit the schools and, what do you guys want to be? Like, well, probably a vet, an astronaut, maybe a meteorologist and definitely a doctor too. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, you can do all of that.
I guess her primary job right now would be making those tie-dye shirts that she's going to wear when she's president.
Yeah. I love that, though. Can you imagine if the president showed up in a tie-dye shirt to a state dinner?
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine.
Black tie and tie-dye.
Tie-dye, yes.
Christina, you should do weather in a tie-dye shirt one day.
Maybe. You know, tie-dye's in. You're finding some nice dresses that are actually tie-dye. It's kind of weird. Yeah, like nice dresses that are tie-dye.
Phase that comes in and out of
they all have green, so I haven't been able to get them. Gotta find without green. All right, we're looking at no green on the radar locally, but we do have a lot of this gray fog. Looking at less than a half of a mile of visibility in Blacksburg and Lewisburg right now, but after 8:30 this morning, the fog is out, and we'll see more of that blue sky. Temperatures start out in the 60s and lower 70s area wide. Pretty uniform here. By the afternoon, we are in the 80s and lower 90s. A little bit cooler in the highlands in those upper 70s. A few afternoon thunderstorms are possible, mainly between 1 this afternoon, and then everything winds down after about 8 o'clock this evening. We do it all over again tomorrow. We do cool down a little bit into the upper 80s Wednesday, middle 80s by Thursday, but each day comes with a few afternoon storms. Patrick and Jenna?
Thanks so much, Christina. The time now is 6:21. Ahead in sports, what to expect from the Justin Fuente era at Virginia Tech.
Plus, improving your health, the dangers surrounding sugary drinks like sodas, and the one easy habit change you can do to lose weight. That's coming up at 6:39.
Closed captioning on WSLS 10 is brought to you by Grand Home Furnishings.
Love your morning. Get 2 scratch-made bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits for $3.50 at McDonald's.
I have psoriasis on my hands and feet.
My wife noticed a spot on my back that we wanted to get checked.
She has a hemangioma.
I had a lot of questions.
A family member told me about Ridgeview. The treatment worked almost immediately. I've seen such an improvement in my skin.
The spots are all gone.
Yeah, they answered all my questions.
Life is good again.
It makes me feel pretty happy.
I definitely trust them.
I recommend Ridgeview Dermatology to all my friends.
Ridgeview Dermatology. For your skin.
For your life.
For your entire family.
Hey guys, how's the pool?
Introducing the new QX60 from Infiniti. Lease the new all-wheel drive Infiniti QX60 for $429 a month. Visit your local Infiniti retailer.
Hurt on the job? The Hague Law Firm can help. After a serious injury at work, you think your medical bills are being paid. Checks are coming in the mail, and so far, everyone's been friendly. However, you may not know it, but that could all change, and all your benefits could be cut off. Call the Hague Law Firm today for a free attorney consultation and learn where you stand. Call the Hague Law Firm at 540-777-1000.
The hottest color in fashion this week is red, because at Grand's Red Tag sale, you can find fashionable furniture and save up to 80%. Just look for the red tag and save. Hundreds of discontinued items, factory closeouts, and more. Now near cost, at cost, even below cost. Save up to 80% on beautiful furniture now. But hurry, once they're gone forever. Plus, save 60% on our entire collection of outdoor furniture. You could even win Virginia Tech Tennessee tickets. Hurry, sale ends Monday at Grand.
Finally, no more missing teeth or loose dentures. Smile with confidence and eat the foods you love again. Aloof Cosmetic and Implant Dentistry makes it easy to get back that smile you've been missing. Aloof caters to those with dental fears with relaxing IV sedation and oral sleep sedation. Call by Wednesday and receive a full consultation for only $99 and 0% financing. Smile confidently again with Aloof Cosmetic and Implant Dentistry. Experience the difference at Aloof Aesthetics. Call us now at 540-375-0095 or visit us at aloofesthetics.com.
Wherever you go, whatever you do, bring the feeling of a summer breeze along with you. Cool off with McDonald's large peach tea for only $1.59 all summer long.
Watch
Watch WSLS 10 Virginia Today from 5 to 7, your back-to-school headquarters.
Welcome back to Virginia Today here on WSLS 10. The time now 6:25. I'm Jenna Zibtip.
And I'm Patrick McKee. Virginia Tech season opener less than 3 weeks away. Hard to believe football season's almost here.
Yes, so excited.
And a lot of folks are. And on Sunday, fans had the chance to meet the team.
Can't get here soon enough. WSLS 10's Eric Johnson has more on their future plans.
The Hokies hosted Fan Appreciation Day here on Sunday at Lane Stadium, giving fans the opportunity to interact with coaches and players before the season gets started in just a few weeks.
Go Hokies!
Fans of all ages came out to meet coaches and players and, of course, grab some autographs. This is only the second time the community has had a chance to interact with the team, so there are still lots of questions as to what fans can expect to see on the field this season. But most we spoke to say they're very optimistic.
I hope everything goes well, better than what we did last year.
I believe that there's a new influx of energy in the program, which is huge as far as I'm concerned.
Prior to meeting with the fans, the team held a photo shoot and addressed the media this morning. With 10 practices under their belt, Coach Fuente says his team has a lot of work ahead of them, but the older guys have stepped up and played a pivotal part in camp.
You know, I like their mindset. We're going to go through ups and downs. They know that. You know, how we handle those ups and downs, whether it's in the first quarter of a game or through an entire half or through a week or whatever it is, however we handle those ups and downs will ultimately determine our long-term success.
Fuente also said the offensive line has been the most consistent piece to the puzzle for the Hokies. Now they're hoping they can carry that onto the field on Saturdays.
Up till now, that's great, but what we have to do is we have to continue that going forward. Just because we did it up until now doesn't really mean anything. That going forward, that has to be us. And getting to that point took a lot of hard work.
Hard work that the Hokies and the fans hope will translate to wins this fall. And of course, Lane Stadium will be jam-packed on September 3rd for the opener against Liberty. In Blacksburg, Eric Johnson, WSLS 10 Sports.
Still to come this morning, chaos erupts at JFK Airport in New York. What may have led to the scare?
And new developments in the defamation lawsuit filed by UVA leaders against Rolling Stone magazine, when the case may head to trial.
The region's leader in heart and vascular services, Carilion Clinic.
If you're ready for a masterpiece, instead of a common kitchen, let Ideal Cabinets make it come true. Ideal Cabinets creates beautiful, functional kitchens designed to fit your unique lifestyle. Ideal Cabinets, your cure for the common kitchen. See all of our stylish looks at idealcabinets.com.
I'm Damon Gutierrez with Damon Gutierrez Associates Realtors. We like homes that sell, not sit. We sell homes faster for more money and net you more money. Get our sell in 59 days or sell it for free guarantee. List your home today at listwithdamon.com.
Did you know that your smile is the first thing people notice about you? A confident smile makes a world of difference. Dr. Henny specializes in helping you get the natural smile you've always wanted. Why wait? We can help you rediscover the joy of smiling easily, comfortably, and within your budget. It's time to bring out your inner beauty and confidence. Call 540-774-1577 today.
Wow, wow, wow. What an amazing amount of wood furniture all in one place. Better Wood Furniture has moved to the Roanoke Salem Business Center. You know, the old Roanoke Salem Plaza. Whether you want unfinished furniture, uniquely beautiful finished furniture, Amish furniture, gorgeous high-end furniture at huge discounts, Better Wood has it all. Furniture for every room of your home. Better Wood Furniture has moved to the Roanoke Salem Business Center on Peters Creek Road. Wow, 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 wow. What an amazing amount of beautiful furniture. Better Wood Furniture, Roanoke.
Your business needs a complete security solution installed by Security Lock and Key. At Security Lock and Key, we really listen to you, find out what your security and safety needs are, then offer you solutions that will fit into your budget.
We can provide a solution of products and services that fit your security needs while eliminating the hassle of dealing with multiple vendors.
Call today and get a free security analysis. Security Lock and Key, complete security solutions, online at slkva.com.
Something great just got better.
AFC Doctors Express is now AFC, American Family Care. No one plans to sprain their ankle or get the flu, but when you do, turn to healthcare professionals who've been serving patients for more than 30 years. At AFC, you'll find the same care and compassion 7 days a week. Same local ownership, same doctors, same quality and convenience. Now part of the nation's leading urgent care network. AFC Urgent Care, the right care right now.
I'm Damon Gutierrez with Damon Gutierrez Associates Realtors. We like homes that sell, not sit. We sell homes faster for more money and net you more money. Get our sell in 59 days or sell it for free guarantee. List your home today at listwithdamon.com.
If you're ready for a masterpiece, instead of a common kitchen, let Ideal Cabinets make it come true. Ideal Cabinets creates beautiful, functional kitchens designed to fit your unique lifestyle. Ideal Cabinets, your cure for the common kitchen. See all of our stylish looks at idealcabinets.com.
Good morning. This is WSLS 10, Virginia Today.
They need to realize that what they're doing is not helping the community at all.
More chaos on the streets of Milwaukee after a deadly police shooting. What officers say about body camera video.
Plus, bullying at school, the signs parents need to look out for, how kids can stop the bullying, and how it's also starting at a young age.
Good morning. Thanks so much for joining us on Virginia Today here on WSLS 10. I'm Jenna Zibton.
And I'm Patrick McKee, and we are starting off this morning a bit on the muggy side and a bit foggy in some areas as well.
Christina is here with a check of what we can expect as we plan our day today.
Good morning. We are expecting a little bit of a foggy start and a few afternoon thunder showers, but most of us are staying dry, almost a replica of what we saw over the weekend. A lot of kids heading back to school this morning. As you head out to the bus stop, you will want your sunglasses and umbrella. Lots of sunshine warming us into the middle 80s by the lunch hour, into the lower 90s on your way back home around 3 in the afternoon with a few thunderstorms developing. We are going to be very humid today with that southerly wind still in place, pumping in all of that heat and humidity from the Gulf and the Atlantic. Most of the thunderstorms, though, are staying out to our north and west with only a few developing locally, most along and west of the Blue Ridge Parkway, but a few developing to the east as well. The main threat with any storm today will be those heavy downpours, but a low threat for any severe weather. Coming up at 6:40, we will break everything down hour by hour. I will have your 7-day outlook, and then we share the picture of the day. Checking in with time saver traffic. A lot of dense fog is reducing visibility in the Highlands and NRV, especially along 460 and Interstate 81 in the NRV, and right along Interstate 64 between Lewisburg and Covington. After 8:30 this morning, the fog will lift out of here. Patrick?
Thanks, Christina. 6:32 now, and new overnight, Milwaukee police make several arrests after 2 days of unrest following a deadly police shooting. During Sunday's protest, an officer was hospitalized. There was at least one shooting, and a car was set on fire. This comes amid rising tensions and an emergency declaration by Wisconsin's governor. Reed Bunyan reports.
I hereby declare this assembly to be unlawful and hereby order you to disperse.
Protests in Milwaukee intensifying Sunday night into Monday morning, with shots fired in multiple locations. Police say they used an armored vehicle to rescue one shooting victim who was rushed to the hospital. An officer was also hospitalized after rocks were hurled at a squad car, shattering the windshield. The violence coming after 17 people were arrested the previous evening. Protesters torching several businesses, including a gas station. The fury that erupted Saturday came just hours after the police shooting death of 23-year-old Sylville Smith. Police say Smith and another person took off on foot after being pulled over at a traffic stop. One officer opened fire when police say Smith ignored orders to put down his gun, a gun that police say was loaded. Milwaukee Mayor Tom Barrett says police body camera footage of the incident showed Smith holding the gun. As for when the public will see the footage, that isn't yet clear.
I don't think there's anybody in the country that's released a body-worn camera of an officer-involved shooting in 24 hours or 36 hours. I think Chicago set the modern record with a week.
Beyond the footage, protesters say issues of violence, inequality, and oppression need addressing too. I'm Reed Binion reporting.
2 terminals at New York's John F. Kennedy International Airport are back to normal operations this morning. This comes after reports of shots fired prompted evacuations and grounded flights. One law enforcement official says it started when a woman coming off a plane thought she heard gunfire. No shooter or evidence of any shots fired were found. Police say cheering and clapping from people watching the Olympics may have led to the mistake.
6:34 now. Happening today, the man accused of trying to kill a Pennsylvania County Sheriff's deputy before barricading himself inside a home goes before a grand jury. Brian Cundiff is charged with attempted capital murder, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, and malicious wounding. Court documents show deputies responded to Cundiff's father's home in Keeling in April after Cundiff got into an argument with his father. Deputies say that Cundiff then shot at them. One of them was grazed on the head.
A federal judge says a defamation lawsuit against Rolling Stone magazine over a now retracted article about a sexual assault at the University of Virginia will likely head to a jury trial later this year. During a hearing Friday, the judge said aspects of Associate Dean of Students Nicola Aramo's case will likely head to a jury. That's according to the Washington Post. Aramo counseled Jackie, the woman who claimed to be raped in the November 2014 story. Aramo sued the magazine and the author for more than $7 million, saying she was cast as the chief villain.
I think that the evidence is very clear that Rolling Stone acted with actual malice and reckless disregard for the truth and really fundamentally wrote a negative and defamatory piece about our client, Ms. Aramo.
Attorneys representing Rolling Stone say the case should be dismissed because the magazine did not know the story wasn't true.
6:36 now. As kids head back to the classroom, bullying, one of the biggest issues that keeps both students and parents concerned. In Virginia, more than 20% of students reported being bullied on school property last year, and just under 15% say they were bullied online.
Many students never report the behavior to a parent or teacher. WSLS 10's Erin Brookshire joins us live this morning. Erin, why are these kids not telling someone?
Experts say they're too embarrassed or they don't want to be seen as a tattletale. That's why they're not telling a parent. This comes from a new study that finds nearly 3 out of 4 students who are bullied never tell their parents or teachers. Stephanie Pendleton, a school counselor at Ferrum Elementary School, says it's important to have conversations with our kids now as school is starting to explain the difference between tattling and telling an adult about a serious situation.
We try to teach them that if in a true case of bullying, that is someone that is hurting or scaring other people, that's not tattling because, you know, that's a situation where it's a safety issue. So we just try to encourage the kids that they need to talk about that and, you know, to be able to stop the behavior from happening to them and to other students as well.
And when it comes to making the bullying stop, she says each case is different, but there are several methods that she suggests to her own students. Sometimes ignoring the bully, simply walking away, is the best way to make that bullying stop. In other cases, it's important for the child to address the bully, talking things out to work out those problems. And sometimes just laughing it off and acting like you're not bothered is the best method to stop the teasing. But if bullying is happening, the most important thing is that the student lets someone they trust, like a parent or teacher, know what's going on. We've posted more information about the issue and a link to the National Bullying Prevention Center to our website, WSLS.com. I'm Erin Brookshire, WSLS 10.
New this morning, Lynchburg schools start back today, and a program started years ago is growing. The Tools for Schools warehouse is free for teachers. The service provided by the Lynchburg City Schools Foundation. Teachers given a certain number of points to spend monthly, then they can come to the warehouse and shop for things they need. They can also order it online and it's shipped to the school.
You know, a lot of the things that the teachers need inside of their classrooms, they're even more expensive than just regular school supplies. And so the plethora of resources that are available to them, it makes a huge difference for teachers whenever they want to bring some new innovative things into their classroom.
They buy items with grants from local businesses or community donations. The Education Foundation hopes it's another thing that helps schools attract and retain good teachers, that they don't have to spend their own money on things for the classroom. They spend, you know, up to $500 for things inside the classroom of their own money to make sure kids are having a good time in the classroom.
They definitely spend a lot of their own money. In WSLS 10, your back-to-school headquarters, there are 11 school systems heading back into class today, including Amherst, Bedford, Campbell, Highland, Pocahontas, and Rockbridge counties, as well as the cities of Lynchburg, Lexington, Buena Vista, Galax, and Covington. As you get back into your routine, you'll find resources at WSLS.com and on the WSLS 10 mobile app, including school start dates and education stories. A lot of kids back in the classroom for the first time today.
Yes, there's also a gallery with your back-to-school photos. Look at this. This is Shaylee on her first day at pre-K at Max Meadows Elementary School. She looks a little hesitant to head back. This is Ethan Coulter starting his first day of kindergarten in Franklin County, and maybe the cat wants to go to the classroom too.
Yeah, no kidding.
Send your pictures, news@WSLS.com. Post them to the WSLS 10 Facebook and Twitter pages as well. We want to see your back-to-school photos, those big smiles like Ethan has on. Always so cute. If you replace just one drink that has a lot of calories with water, you can lose weight and improve your overall health. According to a Virginia Tech researcher, the 2015 dietary guidelines for Americans recommend no more than 10% of our daily calories come from added sugar.
The broader goal of the index is to help people identify what and how much they drink each day. Higher calorie drinks such as sweetened soda and high-fat milk have been associated with diets rich in red and processed meats, refined grains, sweets, and starch.
Christina here with a check of our forecast, and be careful. Look out for those bus stops that are starting this morning for 11 different school districts, and look out for those school zones flashing. They may be a little harder to see this morning, Christina.
Right. We do have a lot of dense fog this morning, especially in the Highlands and NRV. Live look from our Poor Mountain Sky Cam. You can see that fog settled into the valley. We also have a beautiful sunrise going on, some beautiful colors, and we will see lots of blue sky today. As you head out to the bus stop, temperatures are in the upper 60s and lower 70s. We reach the middle 80s by lunchtime, and on your way back home from school, we are in the lower 90s with a few hit or miss thunderstorms developing. More of us stay dry, though, compared to those that see a storm. We are looking at less than a quarter of a mile of visibility in Blacksburg and Lewisburg, down to about 2 miles or less in Martinsville and in Wytheville. After 8:30 this morning, the fog is out of here. We enjoy a lot of sunshine. Starting around 1 or 2 in the afternoon, those thunder showers bubble up with the heating of the day, first along and west of the Blue Ridge Parkway. Into the late afternoon, early evening, right around 5, 6, we'll have a couple of those developing in Lynchburg and South Side as well, but more of us are going to catch those breaks between the storms. After about 10 o'clock, 11, everything starts to wind down. On the big picture, high pressure is to our east, pumping in that heat, that humidity. A low pressure system in front to our west stays to our west today and tomorrow, so not a lot of changes. We stay in those 90s. A little bit of a change by Wednesday. That front moves in, bringing temperatures down a bit into the 80s. We'll also have more thunder showers around for our Wednesday. Heading into the weekend, similar to today, with just a few of those hit or miss storms possible. Temperatures a little better, though, in the low to middle 80s. Our picture of the day is from Ann Martin. She took this in Collinsville, and if you look closely, you can kind of see that rainbow color right in the middle of that photo. Yes. And she asks what's causing this. This is called cloud iridescent, so you can call this an iridescent cloud. When you see those rainbows, you know that cloud is made up of little ice crystals. It's very high in the atmosphere, and those ice crystals are acting like a prism to diffract that light, similar to what raindrops do in a rainbow, giving us that beautiful color.
Up around usually 25,000 or so feet for those really high clouds.
Email us your pictures, news@WSLS.com. You may see them right here on Virginia Today. Coming up at 6:50, we will check in with the tropics. We are watching a little area of low pressure.
All right, thanks, Christina. 6:43 now, and the race for the White House runs through 2 key battleground states, and Donald Trump is no longer targeting his opponent, Hillary Clinton. What to expect from the campaign trail.
Plus, Big Brothers Big Sisters takes another step to reach a recently set goal to make a difference for local kids who need mentors. The event taking place in the day ahead.
Blue Ridge Therapy Connection, helping you achieve your rehabilitation goals.
Even though your work week is over, the news never stops. Wake up weekend mornings to friends you trust. Virginia Today with Rachel Lucas and AMS certified meteorologist Jonathan Kegas. Saturday and Sunday mornings on WSLS 10.
For all of your automotive needs, Thompson Tire has you covered.
Now through September, get a mail-in rebate of up to $120 with the purchase of 4 select Goodyear tires.
Come be a part of the Thompson Tire family.
Thompson Tire, committed to serving you.
It's Grand's huge red tag sale. Look for the red tags and save up to 80%. But hurry, these are discontinued items and factory closeouts, and once they're gone, they're gone. Plus, save 60% on all outdoor furniture. Hurry, ends Monday at Grand.
I have psoriasis on my hands and feet.
My wife noticed a spot on my back that we wanted to get checked.
She has a hemangioma.
I had a lot of questions.
A family member told me about Ridgeview.
The treatment worked almost immediately. I've seen such an improvement in my skin.
The spots are all gone.
Yeah, they answered all my questions.
Life is good again.
It makes me feel pretty happy.
I definitely trust them.
I recommend Ridgeview Dermatology to all my friends.
Ridgeview Dermatology, for your skin.
For your life.
For your entire family.
Choose cabinetry with TLC, the right place for your kitchen or bath remodel. We meet with clients every day to educate and design kitchens or bathrooms for your lifestyle, your budget, your home. From concept to completion, we take pride in quality products and installation tailored to your needs to give you what you want the first time. Call today for your complimentary consultation and take advantage of our monthly savings on cabinetry. Visit cabinetry.tlc.com today.
Shift into savings now at your local Kubota dealer. Take command of your lawn care needs with a new Kubota Commander zero-turn mower. Get commercial-grade performance and a full 4-year factory warranty at a price you can afford. Now get special promotional pricing of $38.99 and 0 down and 0% financing for 4 years. See your local Kubota dealer today.
Visit your local Kubota dealer, VirginiaKubotaDealers.com.
Finally, no more missing teeth or loose dentures. Smile with confidence and eat the foods you love again. Aloof Cosmetic and Implant Dentistry makes it easy to get back that smile you've been missing. Aloof caters to those with dental fears with relaxing IV sedation and oral sleep sedation. Call by Wednesday and receive a full consultation for only $99 and 0% financing. Smile confidently again with Aloof Cosmetic and Implant Dentistry. Experience the difference at Aloof Aesthetics. Call us now at 540-375-0095 or visit us at aloofesthetics.com.
Grand has the area's largest selection of Tempur-Pedic mattresses with 12 models to choose from, including Tempur-Pedic's Flex Hybrid models, all with fast, free delivery and no interest for 3 years. Now is a great time to buy Tempur-Pedic at Grand.
For all of your automotive needs, Thompson Tire has you covered.
Now through September, get a mail-in rebate of up to $120 with the purchase of 4 select Goodyear tires.
Come be a part of the Thompson Tire family.
Thompson Tire, committed to serving you.
Get guaranteed credit approval at the all-new Blue Ridge Nissan Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Martinsville.
6:47 now, and Donald Trump's giving a major national security speech today as he shifts his focus from Hillary Clinton to what he calls the crooked media. A new Wall Street Journal editorial urges the Republican Party to dump Trump if he can't turn things around by Labor Day. The party says it's too soon for that. Trump's in Ohio today for a major speech on security. His latest strategy for winning the election? Blame the media.
I'm not running against crooked Hillary Clinton. I'm running against the crooked media.
He's calling out news outlets as disgusting and dishonest, even suggesting pulling press credentials from the New York Times like he did the Washington Post. Running mate Mike Pence says it's an ongoing discussion. He's argued in favor of the free press. Hillary Clinton campaigns with Joe Biden in Scranton, Pennsylvania today. Biden's expected to tell his working class hometown that she's the candidate focused on their jobs and education, and that Trump would make the country less safe.
Senator Mark Warner is kicking off 4 days of travel in our region today. This afternoon, he's meeting with leaders at the Salem VA Medical Center. He'll be briefed on efforts to improve care for local veterans. Then Senator Warner will meet with community leaders at the Franklin Center in Rocky Mount. He's wrapping up the day in Southside with a meeting with Martinsville and Henry County elected officials.
People in Roanoke County plan to voice concerns about a potential nursing home near Keggy Road. As we reported, those against nursing home formed a group called the Hidden Valley Neighborhood Preservation Alliance. Group members Ron Lundy tells us that Medical Facilities of America is set to make its presentation to the Planning Commission tonight at 6:30 at Hidden Valley Middle School. The Hidden Valley Neighborhood Preservation Alliance believes the facility should be built somewhere else because it will cause traffic issues and degrade the neighborhood.
6:48 in What's News today. Roanoke City Council could give final approval for Patrick Henry High School to use the stadium for more sporting events. Earlier this month, the Planning Commission voted to allow the lights until 10 p.m. The stadium's sound system can only be used during sporting events and graduation. Today, the last day to apply for cooling assistance from the Department of Social Services. Help is available to households making below a certain income. Money is available to pay electric bills, security deposits, air conditioning system repairs, and installation charges.
Big Brothers Big Sisters continues its 60 Men in 60 Days recruitment campaign today with an event at Benny Marconi's. The organization looking for men to pair with boys, as 97% of the children on the waiting list are boys. Some of them have been on that waiting list for over a year. Frozen yogurt shop Sweet Frog celebrating the birthday of its mascot, or one of its mascots today, Scoop. At participating locations, Scoop going to make an appearance, and 25% of proceeds being donated to the American Cancer Society.
Good morning. You are looking live from our airport sky cam. Visibility all right over the airport, but you do see some fog against the mountains in the distance. We are starting out with some patchy fog this morning. On your way out the door, expect temperatures in the upper 60s and lower 70s, middle 80s by noon, into the lower 90s by 5, with a few thunder showers developing. The lowest visibility is throughout Martinsville, Blacksburg into Lewisburg right now, especially Blacksburg, with less than a quarter of a mile of visibility after 8:30 this morning. All of this will lift out of here and we just enjoy a lot of sunshine. Between about 1 and 2 this afternoon, we'll start to see those thunder showers bubbling up first along and west of the Blue Ridge Parkway. Into the late afternoon, early evening, right around 6, 7 this evening, we'll start to see a few of those east of the Parkway around Lynchburg and South Side. Heading into the overnight, after 10, 11 o'clock, everything winds down. We'll see a little bit of patchy fog, and that's about it. Tomorrow afternoon, we do it all over again. Low 90s, a few storms. A few more thunderstorms develop on our Wednesday afternoon, bringing temperatures into the 80s as a cold front moves through, into the middle 80s on our Thursday with just a few isolated storms. Into the tropics, we are watching a little cluster of thunder showers starting to move off of the coast of Africa, trying to form this low pressure area. It has to make it all the way through. Some very dry air in the Atlantic, so very low chance for this to develop over the next several days, but some of these have made it through, so we'll continue to update you on that. Your 7-day outlook is right after the break. Patrick and Jenna.
Thanks so much, Christina. The time now 6:51. How some families can get free access to national parks.
Plus, the surprising number of Americans who are missing work to watch the Olympics.
The opportunities to hike, bike, fish, and ride are endless. Discover bath.com.
WSLS 10, winner of 3 Emmy Awards for Best Early Evening Newscast, Best Investigative Reporting, and Outstanding Magazine Program for Feature Reporting. Thank you for always turning to the station making Virginia proud. WSLS 10.
Come in now and get the 2016 you've been waiting for at Toyota's annual clearance event. It all ends September 6th, so hurry in before they're gone. Get a Camry with $2,500 cash back or no-interest APR financing for 72 months. Toyota, let's go places.
I'm Damien Gutierrez with Damien Gutierrez & Associates Realtors. We like homes that sell, not set. We sell homes faster for more money and net you more money. Get our sell in 59 days or sell it for free guarantee. List your home today at List with Damien.
If you're ready for a masterpiece instead of a common kitchen, let Ideal Cabinets make it come true. Ideal Cabinets creates beautiful, functional kitchens designed to fit your unique lifestyle. Ideal Cabinets, your cure for the common kitchen. See all of our stylish looks at idealcabinets.com.
Need cash? When others say no, Fast Auto Loan says yes. Yes to a title loan today. And yes to fast approvals with great service. And yes, you keep your car.
When you need money and you need it fast, call 1-800-514-CASH.
Did you know that your smile is the first thing people notice about you? A confident smile makes a world of difference. Dr. Henny specializes in helping you get the natural smile you've always wanted. Why wait? We can help you rediscover the joy of smiling, easily, comfortably, and within your budget. It's time to bring out your inner beauty and confidence. Call 540-774-1577 today.
This is Denise, just moments before the worst accident of her life.
I wish I could have stopped it from happening. But I didn't meet Denise until after her wreck. She came to us for help, and that's exactly what she got. We fought for Denise and won. Now she can put this accident behind her. Get Skullroot. Call 877-444-4444.
Welcome. It's me, the Extra Crispy Colonel. My Extra Crispy $20 fill-up feeds a family of 4. It's crunchy, juicy, and oh so tasty. KFC, it's extra crispy good.
If you're ready for a masterpiece, instead of a common kitchen, let Ideal Cabinets make it come true. Ideal Cabinets creates beautiful, functional kitchens designed to fit your unique lifestyle. Ideal Cabinets, your cure for the common kitchen. See all of our stylish looks at idealcabinets.com.
I'm Damien Gutierrez with Damien Gutierrez Associates Realtors. We like homes that sell, not sit. We sell homes faster for more money and net you more money. Get our sell in 59 days or sell it for free guarantee. List your home today at listwithdamon.com.
Come in now and get the 2016 you've been waiting for at Toyota's annual clearance event. It all ends September 6th, so hurry in before they're gone. Get a RAV4 with $1,250 cash back or take no interest financing plus get $500 bonus cash. Toyota, let's go places.
If you've been missing work to watch the Summer Olympics, you're not alone. According to a survey by travel insurance provider Allen's Global Assistance, more than 38 million Americans plan on missing work to watch the Olympics in Rio. A majority of people say they will watch while at their place of employment, while others will leave early or come in late, take time off, or call in sick to catch the games. And they've been so good this year. How could you not want to watch?
So true. As the new school year gets underway, a reminder for parents, all 4th graders and their families are granted free admission to national parks and other federal lands for a full year with a 4th grade pass. To get your paper pass, visit everykidinapark.gov. President Obama announced the Every Kid in a Park initiative last year as part of an effort to get school-age children outdoors and more active.
6:56, here's a look at 5 things you need to know before heading out the door this morning.
A man is dead after canoeing in the New River in Pulaski County. Deputies say a husband and wife were in a canoe that capsized near the Peppers Ferry Bridge Sunday afternoon. Dive crews found the man's body 2 hours later. Weather not believed to be a factor. It is unclear if he was wearing a life jacket.
The man accused of trying to kill a Pittsylvania County Sheriff's deputy before barricading himself inside a home goes before a grand jury today. Brian Cundiff faces several charges, including attempted capital murder and malicious wounding. Court documents show deputies responded after a domestic argument. Deputies say Cundiff shot at them, but no one was seriously hurt.
At least one person was shot in Milwaukee overnight as protests over a deadly police shooting turned violent for a second night in a row. Demonstrators gathered several times over the course of the weekend after officers killed a 23-year-old who fled a police traffic stop on foot. National Guard has been activated.
Temperatures reach the 90s today and tomorrow, with a few thunderstorms developing this afternoon and evening. On our Wednesday, we are into the 80s with a few more thunderstorms developing during the afternoon hours, gradually going into the lower 80s by our Sunday. Just a little bit of fog and drizzle along 81 in the NRV and also 64 heading into the Highlands.
All right, later today, gymnastics superstar Simone Biles trying to make it gold medal number 4.
Coming up next on Today, a look ahead to their competition and the history she's already made in Rio, plus that exclusive interview with Ryan Lochte, robbed at gunpoint while in Rio. Here's a live look at Virginia Beach, courtesy of EarthCam. Have a great Monday.